YouTube, what is up? We are back with another day, and we took our first piss test today. Unknowing to me, we went in for day 2 of the function blood test. We got some blood drawn. Today, I was actually pretty dizzy. I was talking shit after the first one, and they gave me like a bunch of warnings, and I was like, dude, I don't feel anything from this. But this one, like my whole hand was going tingly. I gave less blood than last time, and I was seeing spots and was super lightheaded on the drive home. So that was not cool. I felt like shit for like 2 hours, but I feel like we're back in action. I got some sugar in the system, drank a bunch of water. Feel like we're back. But part of the blood test today, she just handed me a cup and said go pee. So apparently we got our pee tested as well. Drug test, there's probably no way I'm passing it. Too many mushrooms in there. But excited to get those results back. I already got some of my results back, but I'll wait to get all my results back, and then we'll kind of do a blood analysis and blood work video and just talk about that. And then we'll test it again in 6 months after they give you some analysis and some things to work on. And then you test it again in 6 months and see your levels. Right now, the big thing that I see in my blood work is I'm not eating enough fish. I gotta up my fish intake. My omega-3s are all sorts of fucked up. And they're warning that would lead to some joint inflammation, which would make sense because sometimes my joints feel like shit. So hopefully if we eat more fish, that'll fix it. But we get the second half of our blood results back in like a week or so. And then they have a doctor come and analyze everything with you and kind of build out a plan. And then you get tested again in 6 months, and they look at the improvement. So it's kind of a cool system. And again, I'll make another video just covering all of that. I'll do the initial video once the doctor comes and talks to me about it, and then we'll do the retesting video in 6 months and kind of show the progress there. Today, we got some jumps, some snatches, some cleans, and some front squats. Pretty simple day. Again, lighter week on the sticks today, except the snatches are not all that light just because the percentages have gone up because of the PR. But excited to get after that. We're gonna hit some full snatches again, and we're gonna build out that full snatch this phase. No more powering like a coward. We got our intra-workout rival nutrition shake in here. We have 2 scoops, so we have 50 grams of protein in here, a banana and some granola. Blend it all up. It tastes absolutely fire, and we'll be consuming that. If you guys need some protein, support the people that support the channel and use AustinJ20 for your discount code. I'll put it in the bio right below here, and let's get after it today. Let's go. All right, so we're going a little bit lighter on the jumps today just because we did sprint yesterday. The body feels a little bit beat up from there, but we're watching Joel Smith's acceleration course. We're rewatching that just for some inspiration. If you haven't bought his acceleration course, there's the Elastic Essentials course. I can't recommend those 2 courses enough. But we just went back through the acceleration course, and I forgot about this one little squatted. It's kind of like a mid-tier. I want to say it's all the way down, but it's a little mid-tier squatted hop for 100 total reps. Working on that impulse. He talks about how it helps a ton in the 20 and 40, which is what we are trying to build up right now anyways. So we have 100 total reps here. This is the 5th set of 20 of these. These are feeling nice. This is our vertical jump of the day, and then we're gonna get to some horizontal jumps here. Let's go. Like we're riding a horse. Let's get to some horizontal jumps. All right, so for our horizontal jump, we got the triple hop. Same leg, staying on the same leg. We're going for distance. I'm absolute ass at these, but got to continue to build up these single leg bounds, these single leg hops, and just pretty much any single leg plyometric. So we're going for distance for left leg, we're going for distance for right leg. We're gonna hit 2 of each, try to beat our record here. Let's go. Ooh. 18.7 on the left foot. Oh yeah, that was significantly better. I should have did that on my right foot or on my left foot. That was 19.2. We got a long ways to go on the left foot. We can PR by a lot here. First rep was a little soft. Oh, 20 feet, 4 inches on the left foot. Ooh, 20 feet, 5 inches on the right foot. That was pretty good. Let's get some snatches. Start today, we got 205 on the bar, 6 sets of 1, full snatch into an overhead squat. Continue to build it up. I'm telling you, the work's gonna pay off. Every time I say it, it happens. You just gotta buy low. Buy low, buy low, buy low. Let's go. Well, the weight's lighter this week. I'm gonna decrease the rest time just to speed up the workout a little bit. Just as my slow ass takes forever to work out, but we got like a minute 30 in between each one of these snatches unless I go on a long rant. So minute 30 in between each one, set to number 2 here. Let's go. Ew. sixth and final set here. These are feeling pretty smooth. Elbows a little tenderized from that overhead squat position, but we're building it up, baby. Let's go. Now we got 3 sets of 2 power cleans at 275, pretty similar to Monday. Really trying to get that power, really trying to get that bar up, hold, and catch it high. Let's get that power back. We gotta get that back. Let's go. There we go. Ooh, better. All right, so that was the first time 275 has moved like 275 is supposed to move. So pretty happy with that. We're finally getting in that power position. I was really catching myself in the warm-ups, like not finishing that pull, like I was bouncing it off like mid-thigh instead of letting it come up just a little bit more. And I got that come up just a little bit more there, and it was so much better. So hopefully that's the unlock and what we were missing. I was also focused on my starting position a little bit. I feel like I'm just not squat enough in that starting position. I think the low blocks are keeping me in a little bit too much of a hinge, whether that's right or wrong. Technically, when I look at it, it's not what I like, and it's not what I like the feel of, so I adjusted those 2 things, and it felt nice. Now we are going to go into an episode of things that piss me off on Twitter today, and this is a consistent one that pisses me off, but it's performing reps to a whistle. A coach tweeted out why every rep in our middle school, just so we're aware, strength session is now performed on a whistle, and it's a bunch of like 12-year-olds performing landing mechanics, shit RDLs, and front squats on the whistle. Everybody's going on the whistle. And the coach's reasoning for doing this, and again, I'm not coming at any of these coaches. I don't hate the coach. I don't know the coach. I just hate the philosophy. And this coach even tagged another coach in saying he was inspired by that other coach, so I don't even think it's his idea. But they talk about the reason for going on the whistle is that it builds discipline. Athletes move when told, not when they feel like. Well, okay, first red flag. How about we have athletes that want to move and we build a good relationship with athletes with movement instead of just telling athletes when to move? Like the lack of autonomy in some of these strength classes is so ridiculous. And then we wonder why the burnout rate in strength conditioning is so high. These are middle school athletes. If you want to make the argument that you're doing it for safety so that you can coach them, maybe I can give you that. But to build discipline in middle school athletes by blowing a whistle at them and telling them when to lift because they don't get to choose when they move is one of the most ridiculous statements I've ever heard. Second, it talks about improving movement quality. The whistle sets the tempo. No rushing, no sloppy reps. There's 100 sloppy reps in said video just by itself. A whistle has nothing to do with movement quality at all. Maybe tempo, you can say. I'll give you tempo. You can base tempo, but there's also a million better ways to do tempo. Like just having a partner count the tempo for them. But I'm not necessarily against the tempo rep. I'll give you that point. But to say it's a movement quality when there's a bunch of athletes in the video itself performing shit reps is ridiculous. And again, I'm not coming at you as a coach of why middle schoolers just suck at moving. That's just a thing. You're gonna have middle schoolers that don't know how to lift. That's why they're middle schoolers. They're just starting to. To say a whistle fixes that though is a fallacy. That is not true. It just makes it not fun for them. 3, it sharpens attention. Middle schools often lose focus fast. Yeah, because they're middle schoolers. There's a reason for that. Movement should be fun at that age. They're not trying to be pro athletes, no matter how much you want them to be. The whistle keeps their eyes and minds on you. Every rep is a reset in concentration. Not true. Most of those middle schoolers hate that whistle, I promise you. It does not make them concentrate. It might bring their eyes on you, but why do you want the eyes on you as a coach? Maybe they should have their eyes on the movement and the eyes on the thing that they should be focused on, not on you and not on the whistle, whatever. It creates rhythm and team cohesion. When 20 to 60 athletes move together on the same cue, the energy changes, the room becomes synchronized, sharp, disciplined, and unified. Again, it's not a military class. These are middle schoolers in a gym weightlifting class. It's not supposed to look perfect, and it's not supposed to look pretty. The only person that helps is you as a coach. It teaches coachability. Learning to follow external commands builds habits that carry over to practice and game environments. They become easier to coach and better teammates. Also not true. They become robots. The game situation is not performing reps and then looking to the sideline to see what your coach said during the rep. It is being an adaptable solver of movement problems because the field and the movement problems emerge in front of you and you have to be adaptable to figure those things out on your own, and your coach is not going to be there to hold your hand. The more perfect and pretty you make your weight room, the less you actually coach those athletes to succeed on the field. Takeaway, this is the last tweet on the thread, discipline and detail start one whistle at a time. No, robots are created one whistle at a time. And I promise you, if you took a quiz of those athletes, most of them do not like that whistle. And I think the whistle has much more to do with you and how your strength program looks to you and much less to do with that athlete. And again, that has nothing to do with even that coach. That coach is probably coming from a very good place. It's just a poor philosophy of control and perfection in the weight room that has nothing to do with the actual field of play and nothing to do with creating a long-term athletic development program. And I'm highly against it. The only thing that you want to be pretty in the weight room is movement quality. Having a bunch of athletes line up in line and move like shit does none of that. So put away the whistle and just let your athletes lift. And that's going to create true autonomy, which is going to create true discipline. Discipline is not created by somebody yelling at you over and over again. That's how you create a robot that typically resents discipline, resents authority in the long term. Because discipline comes from an internal drive to do the things that they want to do, and you're taking that away from them. I think it's a poor philosophy, and it looks really, really stupid. So that's this week's episode of What Pissed Me Off on Twitter. Let's get the second set. Ooh. Ooh. Ah, sloppier. Rant took a little too long. Third and final set here. Let's go. Ooh. Ew. Ah. Sloppy. Rushed it a little bit. Let's get to some front squats. Now we finish this up with 3 sets of 3. Front squats going pretty light on these, 295 again. A little build-up week, post-max for our next phase. That starts next week. Just stimulating, not annihilating. Let's get it. Oof. Oof. Ooh, let's go. Second set here. Let's rip. Wait. Before we hit this third set, I'm going to answer the question, how often can you do isos for Achilles and the knees? Can you give me a few examples, please? When my Achilles or knee is bugging me, I rip 2 times a day, typically 6 to 8 hours apart. So specifically with my Achilles, which has been something that's kind of bugging me with softball and sprinting, I'll hit a 2-minute weighted calf iso in the morning, just usually driving up against a barbell or a super cat. We'll rip 2 minutes there, then 6 hours later when I come back to train, I do 5 sets of 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, heavy calf raise isos in the same way, where we're doing single leg, maybe we're holding dumbbells, maybe we're pushing against something, maybe it's an overcoming iso. And I'll kind of just repeat that process every day until it starts to flare down again. I know I should stay on top of it even when it's not beat up, but if I'm gonna be honest with you, I kind of only do it when it's beat up. And it really does have a pretty remarkable effect on making it feel solid and healthy again, like especially with the Achilles, when mine starts to flare up, it really just starts to feel like there's no tension in it, like it's pretty loose. And when I start to do those isometrics, it starts to feel like it pulls that tension back in and there's no pain there. I feel like the pain part of it's more of it's just where I'm not extending into the Achilles because I know it's going to cause pain. So when I get rid of the pain, I'm able to extend into it. But it does feel like there's more tension there. I do the same thing with my knee. I'll hit a leg extension iso in the morning, 2 minutes, and then I'll come back and hit 5 sets of 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, pushing against something. I like the impulse strap from DAC for those. That's another one that makes my knees feel really good. If you don't have a leg extension, a wall sit iso or a lunge iso, they're not the best, but they are decent substitutes and they're much better than doing nothing. If you guys haven't bought Jake Tura's jumper knee protocol, or if you don't follow him, you're silly if you don't follow him, but he is the expert on Achilles and on the knee and on the tendons. And a lot of my stuff just comes from him and stuff that I've picked up from him. And I just implement it in my life without thinking about it, and it works. So then I don't think twice about it, right? If it works, it works. And I'm not gonna guess why, but if you really want the reasoning why, go buy his ebook. And you'll get a ton of depth on why we do those things and then a whole program built out to do them. But typically that's the really easy fix that I use for my Achilles and knee, and it's been really beneficial. And I don't have to overthink it, which is really nice. Just once in the morning, wait 6 to 8 hours, once at night when I come back to train. And obviously it works for my schedule really nice because I work with people I coach in the morning and then I come back and train later right now. But you can do the same things at home. That's a really nice thing about isometrics is you can do a lot of the bodyweight isometrics or overcoming isometrics by pushing against a wall or hitting a lunge iso, and you at least get some of the benefits there. So that's typically how I do isometrics for the Achilles and knees. Let's hit this third set. Oof. Oof. Let's go. That's a really good work day. Appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys supporting. Keep chopping wood.